Everyone to the fifth of our Strong Voices series. We're going to talk tonight about Honduran politics and international relations. November of 2021 is a presidential election month in Honduras. So,
hi everyone. I'm really excited to be here in this meeting and share with you an overview about political stuff here in Honduras. And as Hannah was saying, right, we have the elections coming really soon, 2 weeks. So tonight I'm gonna be sharing with you a little bit about our political parties. As you can see on the slideshow, actually right now we have 14 political parties, which is crazy. So not many people actually know about those political parties. But we have three main parties, which are the most popular parties in Honduras, in which most people has more followers. And so we have the National Party, we have the Liberal and Libre, which are the most popular parties. And so right now, so we will have three candidates. So there are other candidates for the other parties, the other 11 parties, but they are not really, they are not as strong as these three ones. So most people will vote for either one of those three candidates, either National, Liberal, or Libre. Something that is also very popular, even the mayors here. So a lot of people vote for either like a national mayor or Liberal or Libre. So actually in every county, so we have a mayor. And so they are either National, Libre or Liberal. And then we have the other parties, which are smaller parties. Then, as you can see, in 2 weeks, we have the elections on November 28th, which is a Sunday. We will have a big day. And we will know who will be actually governing our country for 4 more years.
So I will discuss a timeline from a recent Honduran political history. What happened since 2009 when the President Manuel Zelaya Rosales was impeached. So at that time he was from the Liberal Party. And the reason why he was impeached is because he wanted to raise the minimum wage to everyone here in the country. And the rich people in our country didn't like that. So, they ousted him out of the presidential house and out of the power. And then in 2013, Juan Orlando, our actual president, was elected. So at that time, he had one opponent who was Xiomara Castro Zelaya from the Libre Party, which Libre actually broke off from the Liberal Party. And so Juan Orlando and Xiomara actually had a very, very controversial campaigns. And then, but then Juan Orlando obviously won. And then in 2017, Juan Orlando Hernandez created a law where he could re-elect himself. Actually, the past presidents couldn't do that. They only could be in power for 4 years. But then Juan Orlando created that law that he could re-elect himself. So he put himself in power again in 2017. And now in 2021, we have three strongest candidates. Well, as it was explained before, that we have 14 political parties. You can see we have Nasri Asfura for National Party, Xiomara Castro again for Libre, and then we have Gianni Rosenthal, whose name is not there in the slideshow. So he's running for president for the Liberal Party. but I mean, as we can see, I mean, the strongest candidates are actually Nasri Asfura and Xiomara Castro. Those are the ones that are, I mean, really fighting for the power right now. And so okay, no one knows who will win because both of them are really strong candidates. They have a lot of followers. So who knows who will win?
Because in the rural parts of Honduras, many people don't necessarily feel like their voices are heard very clearly. There's a challenge around equitability within the democratic situation, and yet there still is kind of a hunger for equal political representation among many different people throughout. And so that's something we're really passionate about at the Leadership Center, is really helping women to better understand what is a democracy, what does it mean to have a democratic voice. I'll start with a question for you, Ms. Raim. Can you explain to us how democracy works in Honduras? Just give a little bit more detailed information. How do people in rural areas feel about democracy? Do they feel that their voices are heard?
Like Honduran, we have three big topics to talk. Very passionate topic is religion, soccer, and politics. The democracy here, if democracy means government of the people, if democracy is a system in which the people can change the rulers in peaceful way and can participate in the most important decision making for the country, then Honduras is not a democratic country. Because the political class of Honduras has taken the control of each institution. Honduran voices in rural areas or cities are not here. But the people have found out a way to be heard. Sadly, it's a dangerous method and it does not help anyone. But this method is the protest. This is the only way, actually, is very sad to say, but is the only way for someone from somewhere in the world can hear us. The protest is the way to be present. I say somewhere because in our home, no one hear us. No one sees our situation. But it's sad to say that, but even the National Congress create a law, the protest as a terrorist act.
Wow.
That means that people could go to the prison. We have a very repressive policies from the central government. That is to silence the voices for the majority and for the minority.
Our next question, Carla, is for you. In what ways do families talk about politics at home?
I mean, you can get excited about talking about politics in general, or, I mean, either way, it can be good or bad. Politics, it's very controversial. And then when, especially in families, right? Because now, it used to be, in the past, it used to be very traditional for families to follow like a certain party. So let's say if the father and if the parents were national, right? So their children will be national as well, but not anymore. Now everyone chooses to vote for anyone who they want to, who they think is the best candidate. So now it can be a little bit controversial, and people even fight for that. Even people can be enemies, and it's very dangerous now to talk about politics, because people even have killed each other for defending their own political party.
My question is for Carla. As you think about the confusion that the voters might have with the parties, but you think about regardless of what they stand for, if you just think about an average or normal rural Honduran, what are the things that are should be or are most of interest to them in terms of how the politicians and the government can help them have a better life?
Two things that really matter to us: it's health and education.
Mhm.
Right. If we could have a better health and better education, people will be really happy. Which, I mean, we have struggled a lot, especially rural areas. So not having a better education, not having a good health system. If we could have those, I mean, people will be really happy. But something that none of the candidates, even the previous presidents really have done for our country. We really are struggling a lot with those, big problems. Yeah.
This goes to Mizraim, and then Danya, you can also chime in after him. I was wondering what the actual voting process looks like. Are there long lines? Do a lot of people vote? How old do you have to be? Where do you go to vote? Like, is it in your community? Things like that. And then also if our students here at TLC vote.
Well, the people vote in the place where they were born, and the people can vote when they turn 18 years old. The requirement is about this presented the ID card and being subscribed and the electoral roll. And well, and the city is a little bit more long time to vote because a lot of people is normal. But in the towns, the electoral process is faster.
And you have to go back to the community where you were born in order to be able to vote. Wow.
Yeah. And the last election, that according to the electoral, my father voted in November 28th, 2017, but my father died on December 8th, 2008.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, it's true because it's my personal experience. I believe that here in the only place where the people who have already died, they came back to the life and just for one day and they vote. And after that, because it's true, it's my personal experience.
I remember, Mr. Ryan, one time when I was on campus too, you were sharing with me just how crazy the situation was around the last two votes, where suddenly on election day, after so many people had voted, the electricity went out in the entire country for like 12 hours. And then all of a sudden, when it came back on, the vote was suddenly way different than it had been before the electricity went out.
Yeah, this is another experience here with the last election. To be honest, the body that is in charge of managing the electoral process does not have a credibility.
Wow.
There is always suspicious fraud. For example, the last election, during the count, the electoral power failed. And when the power was restored, the results were different.
It's crazy.
This was an act denounced by the European Union.
Oh, wow.
Which is monitoring the process.
How do the candidates communicate with voters? Do they use social media? Do they use TV? Do they go around and give speeches? How is it that they are informing the voters about what it is that they are going to, what ideas they're going to represent if they are elected?
Sometimes they use, for example, depend the area, radio or TV, some announce, and most of the time they have people, kind of leaders in each community to try to convince the people to vote.
also add something else, is that what doing is they promise things that they will do. Like actually they go to communities, or let's say the mayors, for example, the mayors will visit the small communities. The presidents, they usually go but to the big cities, or where they see that they have more followers, they will go there. But they usually, yeah, I think they use the social media sometimes. If they are let's say in Tehuantepec talking, so they will transmit that to everyone in the country, so everyone listens to what they're promising, everyone, right? But something that they don't do actually is they never share about their government plan. They
Oh,
never
wow.
share about no, they only promise. Oh, we promise that we will do this for you. Oh, we promise that the education will be better when I am in power. I promise that women will have more opportunities, but they never share their government plan with the, with the people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to each of our panel speakers. I think this has been really informative.